Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
We've seen the videos about Planned Parenthood come out over the past month. These horrific tales of people wanting to use baby parts to go buy Lamborghinis, of people saying that they want to use hearts and fetuses and sell them like chicken meat. It's completely ridiculous and, in my opinion, illegal. So now we have Reverend Childress of blackgenocide.org, who's going to talk to us about these allegations and about these things that are going on, and also what you can do to get involved. And thank you for joining us today, Reverend.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
Now, we talked a few weeks ago and we couldn't work out our schedules, but you're here now, and I want to get your view on some of these videos we've seen over the past, I guess, month or so now, these Planned Parenthood videos, these hidden camera videos, going back to some of the earlier ones where we heard people talking about Lamborghinis and also bargaining for the prices of baby parts, like they were talking about, chicken breast and chicken legs. So when you first saw those videos, what was your initial reaction?
Well, I was just thrilled from this point of view that finally they were exposed. These are things that we knew back in 2002, 2004, that it was going on. And all kudos go to the Center for Medical Progress for a very key sting that unquestionably has caused Planned Parenthood to be up against the ropes at this present time and has quite a bit of explaining to do. But even to the point, body parts, okay, but intact fetuses, this is as heinous, as depraved as it gets. And we, the people, right now are at the point of the crossroads of conscience, I would say. We know now this is going on. I don't need to see another 5 or 6 videos. Mm-hmm. What are we going to do? Is this the America that we want? Is this an institution like this? Are they to be shielded and not disciplined and not defunded and shut down? This is really quite a crossroad for this country right now.
And as you're talking about the more videos that are going to be released, I'm in agreement with you. I don't need to see 2 or 3 or however many more there are. What we've seen, to me, is already enough, but we do already see the people with the pushback. They're saying that these videos are doctored, heavily edited, and to the sense that they edit down like an hour-and-a-half conversation down to 5 minutes. Yes, they're edited, but the question is, are they out of context? And I don't believe so.
They're throwing out anything they can at this point. Let me tell you something. Cecil Richards knows she's been had. Now the question is, do we basically just admit our guilt, which of course they're not going to do, or do we cast every deceptive scheme we possibly can say and demonize the Center for Medical Progress as much as we can? They're going to get help from the White House. They're going to get help from certain senators and congressmen, as disgraceful as that is. But nevertheless, I think the evidence is too conclusive. I mean, there's nothing more they can say that other than to basically just depict the deceptive cult that they are. But right now, America is on trial. Right now, America is on trial. We are still seemingly in the hands of evil that demands that we sell body parts, whether alive or well, intact. There's this curse on this country to profit from selling of people, selling of bodies, as you know, with the hijacking, not hijacking, with human trafficking being as prevalent as it is in this country, selling body parts, mutilating babies. Come on, we can turn this around as a people. We can put this dialogue on the front burner. We have a golden opportunity to do that. And right now we have to step back objectively. Once again, this is not about Democrat or Republican. This is about the soul of this country. And I believe we're going to even have some Democrats that will agree with the Republican push at this present time. And I hope it comes from principle and from morality and not just for political favor. But right now, we all should be in unison Planned Parenthood has to go.
And the argument I've heard, I'm sure you've heard as well, that Planned Parenthood only gives about 3% of their funds and resources towards abortion. And I would contrast with that by saying that 97% of the people who protest in front of Planned Parenthood are out there because of abortion. So if they just knocked out this one thing, yes, there may be other type of issues, but the most vocal people are out there because of abortion. So as we talk more about this in the attempts to defund Planned Parenthood and the people who are pushing back against this, what would you say to anybody who at this point, after seeing the videos and whatever else may come about, that still maintain that we should continue to fund Planned Parenthood?
Well, first of all, Medicaid is about $500 million, then 60 or 70 more million dollars federally. Of course, I can do be the guru of the bookkeeper and present to the country that, oh, we only spend 3% of our funding on abortion. They can spend whatever they want, and that's what they're doing. And if that is the case, why would you have to market body parts? If indeed that this is such a small portion of your business, this is a institution of greed. I would never believe their books or anything that they would doctor to show America. The fact of the matter is that they are the leading abortion provider in this country. 20% of all abortions are done by Planned Parenthood. They are disproportionately African American. And I say to all who are listening that they unquestionably are a racist organization. And this is now, are they not only racist, but they're calloused and depraved. Body parts, $999 for a brain. What was it, $625 for a liver? I mean, the Third Reich didn't do this. I mean, we really must put the brakes on here, stop, take a deep breath and say, wait a minute, I live in America. We're better than this. We're not going to allow this to continue. And I've heard pro-choice people who still have not been enlightened on the heinousness of abortion, become appalled at the fact that the children are being dissected and sold. Of course, that's a start for them to head back to the moral base and moral understanding that murder is just murder. And it is unquestionably denying a person the right to the American dream. But when pro-choicers who agree with abortion start saying that crosses the line, we who know the truth should be even more fervent and be more outspoken. Everybody who says they are pro-life has to take this up on another level now. Everybody can do more than what they've been doing. This conversation cannot be controlled by the media. We must force the media. And to show you how divine this is, this is a presidential race. All of the candidates that we saw in the debate were talking about Planned Parenthood. When did you ever see a presidential debate leading up to 2016? I mean, this is, I say to all those who love America and love decency and love and desire this country's future to shift from the direction it's going in, see that this is a divine act of God. All Black life matters. Where do we derive that from? From a mantra they came up with. Black life matters. It's being funded by George Soros. Thank you, Mr. Soros. You begin to plow up the ground for me, and I'm coming in behind you with this message. All Black life matters. And of course, we know all life matters, but I have to play in their world and their game that they're playing, and I plan to use that to expose their own hypocrisy. This is a golden time, and it's all been put together by means which none of us could have done. And the Center for Medical Progress, all Black Lives Matter. It's just a special time. Even we were able to utilize the hatred many have in the African American community, especially for the Confederate flag, but you basically honor the Planned Parenthood flag. I mean, we have to juxtapose these issues out there and say, I am not going to overtly protest over a flag that represented a past. We've been able to utilize another issue there over the Confederate flag. And basically, I've been saying to all African Americans, we cannot become outraged over the Confederate flag of seasons ago when you have a present day flag that is killing 1,786 African Americans a day and has proven historically, empirically, without question, to be racist and to target African Americans. And yet Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, the Congressional Black Caucus, the National Action Committee, NAACP are going to be screaming about the Confederate flag? I think not. I think these, once again, were issues and newsworthy items that were given to us divinely to carry the message of Black genocide. And we know that the shedding of innocent blood pollutes the land. Righteousness exalts a nation. Sin is a reproach to any nation. I honestly believe God is asking the pro-life community and the nation at all to deal with this issue of abortion. It's giving the biggest culprit, Planned Parenthood, and exposing it before the eyes of the country. And God is stepping back to say, okay, what are you going to do now? And I think we're at, once again, the crossroads of conscience. I'm praying that we respond properly in the fashion in which God can honor our efforts and eradicate this evil from America.
And I'm so glad you brought that up. As far as a spiritual perspective, sometimes we run across people and they say, well, you know, it's God's will, it's God's plan. So you're saying at this juncture, you know, maybe God is asking us to get involved at some level. What would you say to anybody who's just content, you know, to go to church and not pay attention to any of these issues?
Not enough, especially at this time. And I'm not asking you to do what I do, but there's another level you can take this. Certainly, if you're on social media, you can post up some of those videos by by the Center for Medical Progress. You can begin to address your sitting politician, your assembly person, your state senator, your federal senator, and really begin to say, this is unnerving. Where do you stand? It's just wonderful that every candidate, whether Democrat or Republican, is going to have to give a clear, precise statement on Planned Parenthood. This is historical. This is, since Roe versus Wade, there hasn't been anything of such nature that's going to expose Planned Parenthood and keep it on the front burner of the conversation. This is a critical time. So Christian, human being, American citizen, we can do this, all of us together. Get involved with your pastor, challenge your pastor. And I'm going to say something that's somewhat radical, but if your pastor's on the wrong side of this, I really suggest you let him know that you could no longer fellowship at that church because of your conscience. If your pastor is not going to address this, if your spiritual leader is defending Planned Parenthood, it's time to go. And I very rarely make such blatant and broad statements, but that's just the hour we're in right now. And perhaps by you standing up and leaving over this, he or she will come to grips with their own conscience and really begin to objectively look at their relationship with God. God is not going to have me cry over something and then another pastor say, it's okay. Someone's not linked up with the Father, the Holy Spirit, and I believe that I am. And I know that we should be weeping between the porch and the altar for over the 60 million babies who have been innocently killed in this country. And I believe now is just an awesome opportunity to do something about that.
That's right. Now, as far as the history of Planned Parenthood, can you, with the time we have, talk about Margaret Sanger and why especially Black people should be concerned about these facilities in their communities?
Well, her ideology was less people of color and less African Americans would do the country and the world better. That ideology is still present today. You have to remember, this is the group that tutored the Third Reich. The Third Reich did not tutor America. The American eugenist, Lothrop Stoddard, and many others whose names, Francis Galton, well, those who followed him, and of course Margaret Sanger, were tutoring Eugene Fisher, who was running the eugenics program for Adolf Hitler. And they wrote, both sides, I mean, not only did the Third Reich write, but of course the eugenists throughout the world who had the same ideology wrote in the Birth Control League. And always remember, folks, Planned Parenthood wasn't called Planned Parenthood. It was first called the Birth Control League. But after 1945, when the word eugenics was a dirty word, they changed the name to Planned Parenthood. Nobody got fired. Nobody left. All the ties were still remained the same. They still had the same ideology, and their target was still people of color. So, and she said, and this has been a masterful strategy that has worked. Why? Because I'm looking at it and living in it each day. She said, we need to hire 3 or 4 colored ministers who basically could be the face of our program so that the African-American community would not become alarmed.
And that's Margaret Sanger?
Yes, Margaret Sanger said the way to approach the Negro is through the religious approach. I really want to talk to Republicans about that, but nevertheless, that's something, another program, another time. But this is what she did. And so she paid them to preach these family planning messages when all along she was trying to induce or introduce sterilization and abortion to be the means for contraceptive, knowing it would hurt them physically also. So what you have today, you have Jesse Jackson, who was once pro-life, he flipped. You have Al Sharpton, Kojic minister, believe it or not, whose mission statement is against abortion. If you're a Kojic minister, he's ignored that, and he has supported Planned Parenthood. You have the NAACP supporting Planned Parenthood, even coming out in 2004 saying that they were pro-choice. Now, they retracted that, but the agenda remained the same. The Congressional Black Caucus, Robin Kelly, a congresswoman, I think from Illinois or Michigan, somewhere around in there, who partnered with Planned Parenthood to have a seminar with the Congressional Black Caucus to do what? To get Planned Parenthood more into the African-American neighborhood. I mean, once again, the statistics are horrific. 52% of all African-American pregnancies end in abortion, 1,786 a day. And these are not my statistics. These are statistics from the Center for Disease Control, from the U.S. Census, and of course, the research arm of Planned Parenthood, who they claim that they're not. That's an absolute lie. Alan Guttmacher, who was at one time the president of Planned Parenthood. So the racism is deep. The eugenics ideology is still there. They want to socially engineer. It is why they live and breathe. And then there's those who do it for the money, you know, a Lamborghini. And I had often said if abortion was not lucrative, it would not be legal.
That's right. Now, Reverend Childress, with about the minute we have left, tell people how they can keep up with your work and also anything they can do or any final thoughts you may have for them.
I appreciate, as I stated, as you said, what should we be doing? Everybody, take it up another level in your conversation. If you're looking for things to talk about, see My Alpha 21, Mark Crutcher, Life Dynamics. I'm working with Greg Cunningham, Center for Bioethical Reform. Go to our website, blackgenocide.org. You can also go to abortionno.org. And soon, you could probably go there now, but I haven't finished with it. Give me another week or so. allblacklifematters.com. And we're going to historically keep you up to date on every project we do with an analysis. And it has been just awesome. It has had an awesome time at Fayetteville. That's an all-black college. Awesome time at the NAACP convention for 3 days in the streets of Philadelphia, engaging NAACP delegates with all Black Lives Matters.
Well, I can't wait to hear more about that, Reverend Childress, another time. Okay. And we'll have you back on, and I definitely encourage everybody to go check out your sites. Thank you so much, Reverend.
Thank you for having me. God bless you.
Thank you. That's it for our show. I'm Jakari Jackson from the Infowars Command Center, and we'll see you again tomorrow night.
In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries in the area of health. But no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. DNA Force is one of the most expensive formulas to produce. Some of the ingredients in DNA Force are $12,000 a kilogram. We are using the coveted, patented, only American source of PQQ, CoQ10, and more. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? Well, we're bringing you a total win-win. The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. We have produced a limited run of DNA Force, and it will take up to 12 weeks to produce more once we sell out. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. DNA Force,